Hi, my name is Jake Eisenberg from Thespian Troupe 6070 at the Galloway School. This is my 1/4 inch scale model for the musical Cabaret for an unrealized production that would be staged in the Black Box at the Galloway School. The musical has music by John Kander, lyrics by Frank Ebb, and a book by Joe Masteroff. Cabaret takes place from 1929 to 1930 in Berlin, Germany. It follows the doomed romance between Cliff Bradshaw, an American writer who visits Germany, and Sally Bowles, a dancer at the Kit Kat Club, or the cabaret that the show is named after. It also follows Fraulein Schneider and Herr Schultz, an elderly couple who fall in love. Fraulein Schneider owns a boarding house, and Herr Schultz is the Jewish owner of a fruit shop. Additionally, there's the MC the MC of the Kit Kat Club, who serves as an omnipresent narrator for the show. The show tells the tale of the rise of the Nazi regime and how apathy can easily slip into complicity and how the characters don't reckon with their mistakes until it is too late. This model was designed with full immersion in mind. Cabaret is a show about how we are far too willing to ignore what's happening right in front of us until it's too late. One of the most famous numbers from the show, If You Could See Her, involves the MC dancing with a gorilla, and it's played as a comedic number involving him dancing around the stage, having pirouettes that the gorilla spins him in, and talking about how he wants to marry her, and the audience laughs and falls and thinks it's just a comedic number as per usual. However, when he delivers the devastating ending to the number, saying, "If you could see her through my eyes, she wouldn't look Jewish at all," it shows how the audience has just as easily slipped into something they would resent, perpetuating Jewish stereotypes. Far too many people think that if they were lived during the time of the Nazi regime as they were gaining control, they would have stood up, they would have helped people, they would have changed something. But just as the characters in the show don't do anything until it is too late, the audience fails to see what is in front of their face and falls in love with the song and dance and the glitz and glamour of the show, and not until too late do they realize what is happening. The show was designed with immersion, and because of that, it allows lots of opportunity for collaboration with other design elements. There's plenty of room in the audience. In fact, audience members are seated at cabaret tables instead of traditional rows. This allows them to feel as if they're in a cabaret and share a sort of space with someone else as they're watching the show. There's plenty of room between tables to allow choreographers or directors to use the space as they see fit, and there's lots of tracking lights all around to allow lighting designers. Furthermore, there are 3 screens on stage to allow a projection designer to do their work. I decided to mainly build the Kit Kat Club and then have all other scenes exist as sort of a metaphor for the Kit Kat Club, because the characters never really escape it. See, they're distracted by dancing, they're distracted by just being purely optimistic, they're not realizing what's happening around them. In fact, when Sally, one of the main characters, sees a copy of Hitler's Mein Kampf novel, she has no idea of what it is, showing that she has little recognition of the current political situation. Some scenes take place in an apartment building, a couple on a train, and one in the fruit shop, but all of these scenes could be conveyed differently from the Kit Kat Club by having lights off for the main facade and instead having projections be used to display the information related for those scenes. For the actors' entrances and exits, the space naturally has 2 other entrances besides where the set is constructed that directors could use to allow actors to enter from, and for the facade there are 2 entrances on stage that actors can use to enter, in addition to a main curtained area that they could use. Actor safety is also always an important issue, but this production doesn't have any moving large pieces that could prove difficult. It's how a director could use to harness small props or interactions between actors, and moving into the audience would be quite simple given how the stage is only 1 foot off the ground and there are plenty of lights that the lighting designer could use to ensure the actors can see where they're going and understand the space that they're in. The first number I wanted to highlight was Willkommen, the opening number, in which the MC welcomes the audience to the Kit Kat Club. The show is set in a thrust stage where there are audience members on 3 sides, allowing actors to easily interact with the audience and everyone to feel as if they are a member of the show. This is inspired by the Black and Tan Club in Chicago that existed during the 1920s. The space is naturally barren of any main features besides the walls, and a main facade is constructed along the back of 2 levels with a small section at the back that can easily be curtained off, where there's an arched proscenium going to the second floor. This allows operation for the second area to be used as an apartment building where it can feel more cramped for the second floor, and there's a ladder backstage to allow actors access to that area. For the second scene I wanted to highlight was Fräulein Schneider's apartment building. This is Act 1, Scene 3, in which Cliff has arrived to rent a room. The ability of the arena of the thrust stage allows actors to move around it as they see fit, and they can move very close to the front to show a more personal scene versus using the whole space of the stage for some of the cabaret numbers. Alternatively, a director could host the boarding room scenes on the second floor, where that arched proscenium allows it more of a cramped feel. For the third scene I wanted to highlight was the Tomorrow Belongs to Me. This is a number in Act 1, Scene 9, in which a seemingly normal song of hope and futurity actually turns out to be a Nazi hymn. This interaction with the audience allows a director to possibly have actors in the audience who can sing along or enjoy the song, not realizing what it is until it is too late. There is also one of the best architectural features of this space is a mirrored wall that exists along near the exit that dancers used to practice normally during the days, but for this production I was able to incorporate. There's a curtain that's across that mirrored wall the entire time, and only when the audience is leaving is that curtain pulled back, showing messages such as Jude or a Jewish star showing the Jewish ownership of the cabaret, as was sprayed and vandalized by Nazis during their rise to power. This shows that the audience failed to recognize what was right in front of them, and the mirrors reflect back to show the mistakes that they've made, and only by showing it at the end does the audience reckon at the same time that the characters do. There's also this diagonal wall. I hung a sign with an arrow pointing to the set, which bears the message cabaret with a K at the beginning and two T's at the end, which is German for a cabaret show, but also a political commentary through song and dance, just as the show is. It has the same letters that could be illuminated as is the message of the Kit Kat Club on the main set, which there's these letters between the first and second floor, which bears that message that can easily be illuminated. Ultimately, the set is trying to harness a feeling of illusion and of lights and glitz and glamour, and only until it is too late has the audience realized what has been happening. The curtain's position at the back can also be pulled up or pulled down depending on the moment, and can allow actors and dancers to preset themselves before moving out onto the main area for dance numbers, such as when moving from an apartment scene into the cabaret itself. Cabaret is ultimately about the mistakes we make when not recognizing what has been happening right in front of us, and by fully immersing the audience, I am able to force a stronger reckoning at the end of the show.